Blast off.
Good afternoon and maybe good morning to some. Welcome to Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club. I'm Sally Reyes from the team of, there's a mess on here.
Sally? Are you there?
Looks like she's dropped off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
she
welcome.
did.
So welcome to Leaders Worldwide. And I would like to introduce our esteemed and very famous, world-renowned leader and president, Cynthia Stott.
Oh, thank you.
Distinguished Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for that impromptu introduction. I love it. We're such Toastmasters here. Welcome to Leaders Worldwide. And we just had our election today for our officers. I'm so excited. Do we have a list of officers? I'm president. Linda's secretary. Michelle Peticolis is our, oh no.
Treasurer.
I'm
it's
sorry.
the other way around.
It's the other way around. Linda Patton is our treasurer. Dr. Michelle Peticolis is our secretary. Our VPE is Mohammed Vikarudian. Our VP of membership is Deborah Wiener. And our VP PR is Taufik Kader. And our Sergeant of Arms is Curtis Grieve. So we're so happy to have a new slate of officers. Yay!
Hey.
They'll be installed sometime in July. I'm trying to get a distinguished person to come and install our officers in July. We'll see what we can do. And we're going to start the new year. Toastmasters starts with July 1st and ends with June 30th. So it's off kilter with the calendar year. It's thank goodness. It would probably mess up our holidays. I want to welcome our guests. We have a guest from Clubhouse. What is her name? Is Natasha. Natasha, I'm so used to hearing your voice. Now I get to see your beautiful face. Would you like to introduce yourself? Where are you calling in from?
Sure. I'm Natasha, and I currently reside in Akron, Ohio, but I originally from British Virgin Islands, Tortola, and I'm a licensed social worker here for social work agency.
Great.
A child welfare agency.
A child welfare in Tortola.
In Ohio. In Ohio.
Oh, okay, in the US. Okay, but you're from Tortola. We have a guest, which I'll introduce next, and a member from Dominica, so not too far from Tortola. Yeah. So who is our guest from Dominica? Is he Yvette? Is that right?
That's correct. Yvettelyn.
Yvettelyn. Yvettelyn, would you like to introduce yourself to the group? Oh, she must be busy. Okay. Robert is our other third guest.
Roger Swenson. Roger, yes. Would you like to say hello?
Hi, Roger. You're
nice.
recurring guest.
Hey, there he is.
Yeah, my name is Roger Swenson. I've been a Toastmaster member for 42 years.
Wow.
I belong to 6 clubs in the Boston and Cambridge area. And I've been an area governor 5 times and a division governor. I've been a division governor twice. And I've been all around, since the clubs went virtual, I've been all around the United States and other countries, going to different clubs in the area. So I'm pretty familiar with Toastmasters. So
excellent. So glad you're here. And then our guest speaker is Aniket. Aniket, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. This is Aniket here. I'm from Bangalore. Have been a Toastmaster about 5 years now, and wonderful to be a part of this club. Because of you, I'm looking at a beautiful sunrise behind this laptop.
You're looking at sunrise and we're looking at sunset. Beautiful, and everywhere in between. Awesome. Are there any other guests that I missed, Michelle?
Just Yvette-Lynn, who did not respond to you. We could.
Okay, she's probably
Oh,
away from. Is
Oh,
she
so
there?
let's see. You already talked to Natasha, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I believe
Natasha,
so.
yeah. Okay, great. And there is a change. I don't know if our Toastmaster got to know the change, but Kadisha, there is a last minute change. Kimmy Avery is lost in Wyoming and has no internet, so she can't be our speaker today. But that means I get to give my speech, which is a research speech level 1, and interviewing 7 surgeons. Interviewing 7 surgeons, and Douglas is still my evaluator. So that's a change. Okay, so I'll turn it over to you, the beautiful Kadisha Curry, our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Madam President Cynthia Stott. And hello and welcome to our meeting, fellow members and always welcomed guests. The theme of our meeting is mentorship. Mentoring at work is an effective way of helping people to progress further in their chosen careers. It is a partnership between 2 people, the mentor and the mentee. Usually the 2 people work in a similar field or share similar experiences. It is a helpful relationship based upon mutual trust, respect, and understanding. Throughout our meeting today, I will be sharing inspirational quotes about mentorship with you. The first one I'll share is, mentoring is a brain to pick, an ear to listen, and a push in the right direction by John C. Crosby. At this time, I'd like to call on our general evaluator, Rosemary Sweeney, who will talk about the evaluation portion of our meeting. Please help me welcome distinguished Toastmaster Rosemary Sweeney.
Greetings, everyone. This evening, I will be your general evaluator, and the general evaluator evaluates every aspect of our meeting. However, we have learned or have heard the quote, if you want to go fast, you go alone, and if you want to go far, you go together. And with the general evaluator, there's a team who will be working with me to ensure that we go far and we go together. So at this time, I call on our timer to give us the objective of the timing, and her report. She will be called at the end of the meeting to give her report. Maureen will be our timer.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Thank you, Rosemary. Yes, thank you very much. Greetings, Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. As timer, I will time the keynote speaker, our club speakers, table topics, and evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of how much time they have left by using my Zoom background. My Zoom background will change from green to yellow to red at the allotted times. And let me show you what the colors will look like. This is the green background. This is the yellow background, and this is the red background. Oh, now I'm going to be stuck in red because I'm not that fast going back. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now, for the master leader, there will be, I will show the green at 1 minute. At 1 minute, 30 seconds, I will show the yellow, and at 2 minutes, I will show the red. For the keynote speaker, there is the keynote speaker, Aniket, has up to 15 minutes for his speech, And then Cynthia Stott has up to 5 minutes for questions and answers. At 13 minutes, I will show the green card. At 14 minutes, I will show the yellow card. And at 15 minutes, I will show the red card. For questions and answers, at 3 minutes, I will show the green card. At 4 minutes, I will show the yellow card. And at 5 minutes, I will change to the red card. We have 2 speech lengths tonight. One is 5 to 7 minutes, and I think that is now Cynthia. And the other is 10 to 12 minutes, which is Deborah. For the 5 to 7 minute speech, 5 minutes will be green, 6 minutes will be yellow, and 7 minutes will be red. And for the 10 to 12 minute speech, 10 minutes will be green, 11 minutes will be yellow, and 12 minutes will be red. Table topics have up to table topic speakers have up to 2 minutes to speak. They have 1 minute, the green card, 1 minute, 30 seconds, the yellow card, and 2 minutes, the red card. Speech evaluators have between 2 and 3 minutes to give their evaluations. At 2 minutes, you will see the green card. At 2 minutes, 30 seconds, you will see the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I will change to the red card. Now I turn it over to our grammarian and word of the day lady, Sally Reyes. Thank you.
Sally, we can't hear you.
Her
Sally's
volume is
audio
down.
is still connecting.
It's like she's trying to call in.
Oh,
Madam GE?
Yes, let's go to the Madam General Evaluator. Maybe you can explain the grammarian's role for us, and Sally will take over when she can.
Okay, when Sally comes, you should be telling us that she is the grammarian.
Yeah.
And as grammarian, she's going to listen for the good use of English. And whenever we do not use English in the correct way, she will give us she will tell us what we did not do properly and advise us how we should do it better. I do not know the word of the day. She will also introduce the word of the day to us and give us the meaning of the word of the day. The word of the day, when it is told to us, we are going to use it and incorporate it in our daily speech, in our daily word. What we speak about, we are going to use it not only at our meeting, but this evening, she will be listening up for us to use the word of the day. I think now Sally can come on. She can give us the word of the day.
Okay. Sally, unmute, please.
yay! You're back, Sally. Oh no.
Can you try again?
Am I on now?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I just had to write down, but I didn't get upset.
Awesome.
The word of the day is community, and this is what we call good community help. Thank you. And the word of the day is mentorship. And
Or vice versa.
The
Vice
theme of the day is mentorship.
it is mentorship. I got it backwards. Okay.
And the word of the day is community.
Community is when we work together to make something happen. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
And
Yes.
listening in.
So we heard the word of the day, it's community. I now return the virtual lectern to our Toastmaster of the day.
Yes,
Thank
hi.
you. Thank
Oh.
you, Madam General Evaluator. Now I'll call on our master leader. Please help me welcome Isaac Ford.
Thank you, Khadijah. The theme for the meeting is mentorship. And I'd like to quote Bob Proctor. A mentor is someone who sees more talent and ability within you than you see in yourself and helps bring it out of you.
That's wonderful.
And I'd like to talk to someone who does it better than anybody. And that is Quincy Delight Jones, AKA Q. I'm going to give 3 examples of his ability to bring out the best in people. The first one, I'll start off with Oprah. He was in Chicago for a court thing. Oh my goodness. Oh man, where's my phone? I don't even have my phone on me. Jeez. Oh gosh.
It's all good, Isaac. Just
We're
go
all
on.
Today.
Oh man. Okay. Let me finish where I left off. Okay. So Quincy, he's the one who cast Oprah for The Color Purple. You know what? I'm gonna just say I had a lot about 3 different mentors, but somebody just decides they want to keep calling me and I don't have my phone near me, so I can't turn it off. But the second person that he mentored was Michael Jackson. And Michael Jackson was so shy when he was producing him that he had to turn his back to Michael so in order for Michael to sing. That's how shy he was. But obviously the movie, the video Thriller shows the kind of talent that Quincy Jones had. And then the third person is Frank Sinatra. Now, Frank was already on top of his game, but when he hired Quincy to be his music director, Quincy was such a perfectionist and his band was pushing so hard that Frank Sinatra didn't even drink when he rehearsed with the band. That's how much he wanted to be together with Quincy's band. So that's what a mentor does, is he brings out the best in you. And this club has a lot of great mentors. So anyone who's a guest, you will find that out as you go along. Back to you, Khadijah.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, Master Leader, Isaac Ford, for that inspirational quote and message. Now, we are moving forward in our agenda and with our meeting. I will now introduce our keynote speaker. Aniket Amdekar is a professional coach and has been mentoring people across over 15 countries for more than 2 years. He is a cybersecurity professional with over 14 years of experience protecting information and networks of multiple companies like Walmart and Microsoft, etc. He has been a mentor in Stanford University in their advanced cybersecurity program, helping professionals from over 15 countries. During the lockdown, he started an initiative called Vanasarna, where he narrated stories from Ramayana to over 30 kids online. He is a father, a foodie, and a storyteller. Someone has narrated.
Oops. Oopsie. Kadisha got to unmute. You accidentally got muted.
Oh,
Sorry, I was trying to mute the noise.
That's okay, got it. I'll pick up from where I left off. He's a father, a foodie, and a storyteller. Someone who has narrated over 60 hours of Ramayana stories to kids. A distinguished Toastmaster who has served the District 92 as a division director in the year 2019-2020. He has been helping many clubs by mentoring their new members. Please help me welcome Aniket. Excuse me, I lost the last name. Forgive me. Please help me welcome our keynote speaker, Aniket Amdekar.
Thank you so much, Kadisha.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. All right. Good evening and good morning to Swarna, who is from Singapore, and I'm sure she's just off to her work right now. So while I sit here So while I sit here in India, it's around 7 a.m. right now. And here I'm thinking, I can see so many members of this club. I'm coming here for the first time. And I remember going to my club for the first time as well. And when I joined Toastmasters, I had a invisible yellow sticky note on my forehead. And that yellow note said, I'm here only to give speeches. And then I had one more invisible sticky note that said, this leadership stuff is not for me. I'm not going to do any of that. And and there were a few more. But then as I attended meetings and as I attended district conferences, um, that time, a few things getting clear to me. And after that, a few days later, when I decided to be the VP of Public Relations in my club, I figured out I can be the mad doctor in my club. I can start experimenting stuff. And I started to create a lot of crazy posters and newsletters, things that I had never even dreamed of when I joined Toastmasters. And that's why what I believe is we have a black box between our ears. And that black box is nothing but an answering machine. The kind of questions that we ask ourselves, those kinds of answers we will get back. For example, if you ask yourself, hey, I'm going to give my speech today for 15 minutes. Am I going to forget the thing or not? So if I ask a question, am I going to forget my speech? Then your brain is going to go through all the information and say, yeah, in your childhood, you used to forget answers. Remember your wife was nagging that yesterday you forgot your keys. And remember that you forgot this and you forgot that and you forgot that. So when you ask a question, am I going to forget? At that time, you're going to get that kind of an answer. And which is why what I want to begin with today is that we can all be leaders. And the quality of our leadership is nothing but the quality of the questions that we ask ourselves. And as we are already in June, you have got a new executive committee coming in. So welcome everyone, you are in for a ride. And this new executive committee, I'm sure will have 7 fluttering hearts trying to identify what all challenges are facing them ahead. And during this entire time of these 6 months, I would say the perspective matters a lot. If the perspective is, how am I going to survive this entire 6 months? Never done something like this before. Or these 6 months are nothing but a social experiment for me to talk to people. If I'm the VP membership, then I have to talk to different people and talk to them about Toastmasters. So have you ever championed a different cause and talked to people about it and told them the positive aspects about that cause? There is one quote that I just loved that I heard from one of our district leaders, and she is the international director right now. Would you guys want to hear it? Yes? Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm getting some yes. Nice. The quote is, we are not in Toastmasters to be good at Toastmasters. We are in Toastmasters to be good outside of Toastmasters. And if you keep that mission statement in your mind, in that case, your why will always be clear. When you are as a VP membership talking to the new members, you know that you are building skills to talk to new people. As a president, when you are trying to inspire your team to all together, we can achieve a single goal, you are learning to inspire people. And in the normal course of chain or normal course of time, when somebody is growing in their professional career, in IT world, you start as an IT analyst, then you become a lead, then you become a manager. And as a manager, that's when you need to inspire people, inspire your team. And that's at least 8 to 9 years after you have started. But here in Toastmasters, none of those criteria apply. If you are a president, you can do it. And it's not just about precedent. I read another quote in one of my favorite authors' book, and it said, if a movement is to have an impact, it must belong to those who join it, not those who lead it. And that means the members who have joined the club, who have paid those $45 and joined in for the next 6 months, what kind of difference are you seeing in those members? What kind of difference are they seeing in themselves from 1st of July till 31st of December in these 6 months? So if we are making a positive impact in each and every members who joined the our movement, I would say that is really when the movement is successful. Now, I remember when I took up the role of division director, I had many plans, and I had 4 awesome, passionate, crazy area directors working with me. And all 4 of them had their own clubs, and together we had 24 clubs to manage. And this is where one more thing that I want to share with all of you, and that is vision. Your vision is very important, because you see, for every company, you would find there is a vision statement, there's a mission statement, and sometimes we just take it for granted. I mean, that everybody has, right? Nothing special about it. However, imagine this. A new president walks into the club and says, okay, I'm going to start my journey from today. Let's see what happens. We'll figure it out. So for the next 2 to 3 months, their time would be spent learning the things. Now, look at it in a different way. Hey, I am a president. I just started. And now I can see there is something called as Hall of Fame award. Wouldn't it be awesome to have that award for my club? Let me get all the team members on the call. And then everybody gets into the call. Everybody looks at the criteria. And we come to know that you need to publish a newsletter. We need to add members, DCP, all of that. And then each of the executive committee members take up one task from that. And together, when we as a team pull in the same direction, there is no other force that can match it. In this example, what brought the team together was the grand vision of the leader to get that award. But it need not be an award that motivates the team. It could be you want to onboard 50 members in your club. And now the new XCOM completely looks at how are we going to onboard them? How are we going to schedule their speeches? What are some of the interesting ways in which we can introduce these new members to our existing members? Mentorship, because I love today's theme, by the way. Mentorship is an awesome theme to have. And when you in my club, Electronic City Toastmasters Club, our club is known for mentors. Our club is known for quality evaluations. So when somebody comes to our club and we ask them, how did you know about our club? They say, I'm from a certain district and we heard about the evaluations in your club. That's why I wanted to deliver my speech. Now, we make it a point that we share this specific information with every member so they feel the pride to be a part of this pride. And that's when a member not just thinks about the next meeting as a club to attend, but they know that they are a part of a bigger group. And together, when they join the club, when they are in the meeting, they feel stronger because they know they have got some people who can help them here. And that's also a point where I think understanding the why behind every member, why they joined, that's very important too. Because every person has a different reason for joining Toastmasters and also becoming a leader. I remember one of my mentees, she was completely reluctant. I could completely see that invisible sticky on her forehead as well, which says leadership is not for me. And then I said, hey, you can do it. Don't worry. Just take up one role, go it with 6 months, you would enjoy. But the only answer I've got was, I have never done something like that before. I don't know how to do it. What if I fail? And that's when I told her the same thing which I mentioned earlier. Consider this as a 6 months experiment and walk in with a completely open mind. See, during the installation, I mean, in the virtual days, we can't use the gavel. Are you guys using a gavel for the installations, like the virtual gavel to install the new executive committee? So what I told her was that gavel is actually a pencil. And with that pencil, you are going to write a new chapter of your life, something that you had never done before. You would be getting that opportunity now. And that role, that the role that she had picked up was the secretary of the club. So I said, you have got the most important thing. You are going to give the credits to people who have given the speeches. And if you don't do that, they are all going to call you and say, hey, I gave a speech. I don't see my name in the MOM. What did you do? And then that got her thinking. Because if you take the analogy of an egg, if an egg breaks from the outside, a life is killed. But if an egg breaks from the inside, a life is born. So that's why that inspiration has to come from the inside. If you keep pushing, maybe she would have taken up the role just because a mentor is pushing her. But if it doesn't come from the inside, it would just be another task. Then how is it different from your work? How is it different from any other thing which you are forced to do? So that's why having that inspiration in the executive committee, in the members, is extremely important. But then if it's all work, or only the things that you need to do as a part of the XCOM, things get boring very quickly. That's why you need to spice things up. That's why contests matter a lot. So I want to just quickly ask everyone here, how many of you have participated in the contests recently or in the past? Any hands going up? Okay, I can see both hands from Kathleen. Very nice. All right, cool. Thank you guys. Thank you so much, Swarna. All right. The reason I asked that question is, in a contest, your learning curve is tripled. Your learning curve is just going across like this. Because imagine if you have a speech to give next week, you're going to spend some time writing the speech, practicing the speech, you will deliver the speech, and then your next speech would be maybe 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later. But when you are in a contest, your mind is pregnant with that speech. You will always have that speech going on in your mind. You would always be noticing other speaker. Oh, I like that kind of voice modulation. Maybe I can use that in my speech. Maybe when you go and you're watching a movie, you like a dialogue and you're thinking, that's a nice analogy. Maybe I can use something like that in my speech. And as a speaker, this is what you should be doing, whether you are contesting or not. So I would say, learn to be a speaker through a contest and then remain a contestant for the rest of your life. That is going to accelerate your learning journey. Now, when we talk about leadership, you see, leadership is not just VP of this and VP of that and secretary and president. A leader is somebody who lives in the future. If I know what I need to do 6 months from now, and I start working on it from now, then I am a leader. I have that quality in me. If you are somebody whose why is so strong that why is going to pull you to wake up at 5 a.m., prepare and deliver a keynote at 7 a.m. If that why is strong, in that case, you will be a Toastmaster for 43 years, just like what we heard from one of our members who is present here. Because I think that why is the driver, that why is the fuel. So one message that I want all of you, when I leave from here, that one message that I want to deliver to all of you is, find your why. Why did you join the membership? Why did you join Toastmasters? Why did you continue to be in Toastmasters? If I look at Cynthia, she's an amazing speaker. Maybe when she joined, she might still be working on her speeches, on her speaking skills. But when you are getting better at that and you continue your journey, that means your why has now evolved. And that's what we are, right? We are all evolving. What you were 30 years ago or 20 years ago, the kind of thoughts you had, the kind of priorities you have, is totally different than what you have now. What does that mean? You have evolved. And this evolution is the one that matters. So, which is why, my dear Toastmasters, I wish a happy evolution to each and every one of you. And I wish and I pray that all of you have a stronger why, which will be the fuel for your journey in leadership. Thank you so much. And back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Aniket and the car. Outstanding. Well done. At this time, our president, distinguished Toastmaster Cynthia Stott, will facilitate a Q&A from the chat. If you have any questions for Aniket and the car, please put them in the chat and Cynthia will facilitate the discussion. Over
Yes.
to you, Cynthia.
Great. Thank you, Khadisha. And thank you, Aniket. Oh, that was amazing. And I know you, we talked about you speaking. It must have been at least 5 months ago that I put out a question in WhatsApp, who wants to be a keynote speaker? And you responded. And I'm so glad you did. That was an amazing presentation. And so important. Start with your why. Yeah, for a Toastmaster, for a leader, for an officer, for whatever you do, if you're an entrepreneur or professional, your why is so important. Great. And is your hand raised, Rosemary? Oh, no. Okay. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And so if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat and we will talk to Aniket. Khadisha said she loved that, loved your speech. Natasha, our guest, said awesome. And Rosalind Khan said so many jewels. And I actually called some of them out. I wanted to write them down so I didn't forget. If an egg breaks from the outside, the chick dies, or you said there's a loss of life. If it breaks from the inside, the chick is born or a life is saved. Ah, that's beautiful, beautiful. What a jewel. And I never thought about it that way, because sometimes as a mentor, as a leader of a team, you just want them to go faster. And sometimes you might take a chisel and crack the egg, and then the egg is spoiled. The chick dies. So we have to, it's a huge responsibility to be a mentor and a leader and to guide your people to open from the inside. Great. And then we have Michelle, we have Kathleen Pill says, so very true, Aniket, and you make it fun. Carolyn Douglas says, I never hear too many speeches on knowing your why. Thank you. Oh, so true. Dr. Michelle Peticola says, as a mentor, how do you motivate someone to take steps that scare them? Oh, that's a very good question.
Oh, sure. Thank you so much for that question, Michelle. I would say there are different ways to inspire different people. For example, I mean, in a corporate world, not everybody is inspired by a prize that if you achieve your goal, you will get this prize or you will get this bonus. For some people, it's a challenge that inspires them. And if I say, hey, I'm going to give you a challenge, are you willing to accept it? And now the other guy thinks, yeah, sure. What is it? And then you say, I challenge you to participate in the next contest, something that they had never thought of. Now that you have gone, if their ability was to do 1 + 2, you have told them 1 + 5, and now they have to stretch themselves to get there. And that stretch is nothing but the growth. So it could be a challenge to motivate someone to take the steps that scare them. It could also be a motivation of showing them the possibility that if you do this, the future may look like this. Sometimes it is the prospect of progress in the future that also inspires people to do things. Maybe not for themselves. It could be for their kids or their wife. which is why as a mentor to mentee, knowing your protege is very important. Again, why are they here? Are they here to be a better parent, be a better salesman, or better person in their office? So if you use that why and use that in your mentorship, that drives everything.
Wow, that was amazing. And Michelle's Pedicolis, she says, great answer on motivation, Aniket. And Cassandra says, you inspire me. Oh,
Thank you.
awesome. Kadisha says, we are in Toastmasters to be good out there. That is a great reminder. I love that. Love it. And Rosalind Khan says she loves it too. I like that you are not in Toastmasters to be a better speaker in Toastmasters. You're to be a better speaker everywhere else. This is the place to practice and even to fail.
Yes. Yes. I see one more question in the chat from Michelle.
You do. Oh, you're Johnny on the spot. As a mentor, how do you know when to direct and when to let your mentee figure things out for themselves? Oh, good question. Excellent question.
Excellent question. Yes. Okay. All right. I would like to give a short little story for this. Sorry, Maureen, I already see the red card going up. But the story is of that butterfly which is trying to break out of the shell, and a little boy breaks that shell from the outside. And because of that, the butterfly never grows the strength to break out and can never have the wings. So a mentor is also just like that. So you can show the direction, you can give the motivation, but don't give them the tips and the tricks. Never help them to write their speech. Maybe you can tell them, you can refer to some quotes or do the reviews. However, let them write their own speech, even if you know it's not to the level that you wish it to be, but it's all right. Your kid will start learning to walk in the next few weeks.
Oh, that's beautiful. You show them the way, but you don't do it for them, like your child that's doing his homework.
Yes.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Michelle says it from all of us. Thank you so much, Aniket. I'm so glad you're here, and it's early morning. You're all the way in India, and we're from all over the world. I just really appreciate that you are willing to come here and speak with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Cynthia, for inviting me here. It was great to be a part of this club. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. And I hope you'll come back soon. I know you've been an evaluator for us many times.
Yes.
So I hope you will come many times again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Timer Maureen, for keeping us on track. And at this time, we're going to have a 5-minute break. The time starts now.
Okay. And we don't have any breakout today, so we're all going to stay here in the same room together. I don't think we've done that in quite a while, so it'll be really nice. Enjoy your break.
Thank you, Madam Timer Maureen Xavier. Now we're going to move on to talking about, is everybody back? I'll know you're back when your cameras are on. Okay, wonderful. Now we're going to move into our prepared speaking section of the meeting. We have two pathways speeches this evening. Our first evaluator is Carol J. Douglas. I'm going to invite her to come forward and to talk about Cynthia's pathway speech project and the timing. And then I will announce Cynthia. Please help me welcome Carolyn Douglas. Sorry.
Good evening, everyone. I'm in the Bay Area, so it is evening for me. I am here to evaluate Cynthia Scott's speech today. She is in level 1 doing the researching and presenting project. And the purpose of this project is for the member to learn to review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. So we will be looking to see that this is a well-organized and a well-delivered speech. Back to you. Oh, the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Back to you, Toastmaster Khadijah.
Thank you, Madam Evaluator Carolyn Douglas. Please allow me to read Cynthia's introduction. Cynthia is the youngest of 8 children. Her father was a podiatrist, a foot doctor, and a famous surgeon. He made her painfully aware of the difference in care from surgeon to surgeon, as he had to often fix the work of other surgeons. The title of Cynthia's speech is Interviewing 7 Surgeons. Interviewing 7 surgeons. Please help me welcome Cynthia Stott.
Thank you. And boy, did I learn lessons from my father as a podiatrist, as a surgeon. He used, every time he taught at the podiatry school, every time he did surgery at the podiatry school, he also taught. And so all through my growing up years, the dinner table was fodder for talking about surgery. That's very interesting conversation. So I found myself with a popped meniscus. What is a meniscus? Well, it's sort of like, you know, on mason jars, there's that little rubber thing around it. Well, you have kind of a rubber thing, but organic, on your knee, in your knee. And mine had a little tear in it. And it was sort of like a hangnail. And so they needed to go in and repair that. But I knew not every surgeon is the same. In fact, Johns Hopkins University says that of the 750 meniscus repairs that are done every year, they account for about two-thirds of the arthroscopic knee surgery, which is that little tiny hole with a camera that goes in. It's not a knee replacement, but of arthroscopic. And you want to know the success rate? 60 to 90%. Well, I did not want 60%. To me, that's a failure. I didn't want my knees to fail. So I put together the work of my community and had sent out my feelers for who is the best knee surgeon around. And I got 6 recommendations. And they went from the worst. Now, mind you, these were highly recommended doctors, but the worst one, I almost smacked him. Okay, I didn't smack him, but I wanted to. Because he kind of patted me on the head, metaphorically, because he had my big, huge, back then, the MRIs were gigantic films, and he had them tucked under his arm. And I said, well, I'll need those back. And he said, why? And I said, because I'm going to interview other doctors. And he said, but that will just confuse you more. I almost smacked him. And he was a very famous surgeon. In fact, he did the surgery for Cecil Williams of Glide Memorial Church. But he was a big no. And then I went again and again and again. The 6th one was hopeful. This was a woman, and I liked everything she said, except she wanted me to sign a paper that said, if they need to clip my bone, terrified me, in surgery, I say yes. And I said, I say no. And I don't want it. And I know she was my last hope. She was my 6th interview. And then I reached out again to my community and begged, does anybody know of a good surgeon? And this woman piped up and she said, I have the best surgeon. I said, okay, let's hear it. He's the surgeon for the Raiders football team. He only does knees and shoulders, and he works for the Raiders football team. And football players need to get sewed up, fixed up, and back out onto the field. So I had a good chance with him. He also not only does meniscus repairs, he is the doctor that found out how to, when the meniscus is really damaged, how to transplant a cadaver's meniscus into your knee. So you wouldn't have to have plastic. You could have human tissue. I'm like, ooh, he sounds great. So I went to him and I can't see my timer.
You've got 4 minutes. You're on 4 minutes and 37 seconds.
Okay, good. Thanks. And I said to him, I said, so what do you think about cutting bone if you need to? If you go in the surgery, you open me up and you find you need to cut the bone. He looked at me. No game day decisions. He said, blood is flowing, fluids are flowing. It's not reality. We're going to do what we do. If we see something different, we're going to just finish off. We're going to close you up. We're going to wait for 6 weeks, take another MRI and see what we can do then. No game day decisions. And I said, you're hired. And my recovery was so awesome. He wouldn't give me crutches. I had 3 days, he let me limp, and then I had to walk straight after that. I'm so glad that I listened to my father. Oh, never thought I'd say that one. And interviewed all of my surgeons. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam Timer, please allow 1 minute on the clock so that we can give Cynthia feedback in the chat. Thank you, Madam Timer. In keeping with our meeting theme, I'd like to share with you another quote on mentorship. According to Steve Washington, mentoring is a two-way street. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. Our next speaker is Deborah Wiener and her evaluator. May I have her evaluator step forward to talk about her speech objectives? Oh, that's Rosalind Kahn. Please help me welcome Rosalind Kahn. Thank you.
Hi, this speech evaluation is connecting with the audience. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice the skills needed to connect with an unfamiliar audience. In this project, she's going to be practicing the skill to connect with an unfamiliar audience. She needs to pick a topic that is unfamiliar to the club members. And we're going to listen for an unusual topic and see how she did. The title is, Are You Still Making Decisions from Your 10-Year-Old Child? Thank you.
Thank you.
Time is 10 to 12 minutes.
Wonderful, Rosalind. Thank you so much. I'd like to read Deborah's profile. I'm sorry, introduction. Deborah will speak about intuition, emotions, energy. We will learn about how she lost her intuition, learned to feel again, to work on her emotions, to find that all answers are within. All we have to do is ask. Please help me welcome our second speaker, the title of her speech is, Are You Still Making Decisions from Your 10-Year-Old Self? Are you still making decisions from your 10-year-old self? Please help me welcome Deborah Weiner.
Are you still making decisions from your 10-year-old self? Let me take you back to when I was 10 years old. It was a chilly, winter, snowy day. A group of children were sliding down the fluffy white snow on the bunny hill, laughing with glee. However, I was standing on the top of a different hill with my overbearing and manipulative sister and my only friend, Julie. There were 3 of us standing on the top of the hill. I felt like the third wheel. Our hill was a steep, terrifying hill. Julie and my sister wanted me to go down this hill on a rickety wooden sled. I'm full of fear, but I'm used to doing what I'm told. I was conditioned as a child to ignore my feelings and intuition. If you were standing there with me, you would have heard them say, "Come on, Debbie, you can do it. Stop being such a scaredy cat. Chicken, chicken, chicken." I just wanted them to stop pressuring me. I wanted them to like me. I chose them over me. Have you ever chose another person over yourself? Against my intuition, I got onto the rickety old sled. Within a few seconds, I think to myself, this is a bad decision. The speed is picking up. The bushes and trees are flying by faster and faster. I realize I don't have a way to stop this thing. Faster and faster, I'm flying down the hill. I realize I don't have a way to stop. And I don't have a way to slow down. I have to think quickly. I make a sudden and tragic decision. I see a tree ahead of me. I aim for it, thinking it will stop me. Bam! My face smashes into the tree. Ouch! I hear my bones crack. I break my nose. It still affects me. Decades later, my nose is crooked. It's hard to breathe. I can't help but feel remorse. Why did I get on that rickety old sled? Why did I let my sister and my friend Julie goad me into a bad decision? Why couldn't I say no? That's how I found myself making bad decisions over my lifetime without thinking if it was right for me, if it was safe for me, or if it was what I needed or wanted. You might wonder how a 10-year-old could have been so easily influenced to take this dangerous sled ride. I was born into a severely abusive, dysfunctional, and neglectful home. In my family, the abuse of children and women had been going on for generations. There was an unwritten code of silence that kept anyone from getting help or stopping the abuse. By the time I was 10 years old, I had learned that NO was not an acceptable answer. I had been groomed to serve and please everyone around me. I had learned that my needs were not important. My role was to do what I was told every time without question or complaint. If my intuition was telling me otherwise, I had to ignore it, turn it off, and tune it out. Because survival in my family meant and required complete and immediate compliance. Do you use a GPS system on your phone or in your car? We can't get to our destination without it. It tells us where to go next, what on-ramp and what off-ramp to take, and where to turn. By the time I was 10, I had already lost connection to my own internal GPS system, my intuition. The worst part about the abuse I suffered was that I lost my identity, my connection to my intuition, my ability to set healthy boundaries, and my ability to feel and understand emotions. There are many circumstances that lead to squashing our intuition. Sometimes it is strict religious parents, immature parents, they could be neglectful or absent parents, teachers, manipulative or domineering friends, or an authoritarian boss. Our intuition is what guides us in life to what is the best choice for ourselves. It guides us to meet our needs, our desires, and our dreams. Is your intuition or your internal GPS system turned off? Is it on silent mode? Or is the volume so low it's a whisper? Were you taught that no was not an acceptable answer or a complete sentence? Can you distinguish between your emotions such as sadness or anger? Do you push down your sadness so that it turns into suppressed anger or depression? You could be numb. Does your voice come from a 10-year-old in choosing what feels right for you? Maybe you were told that what your intuition was telling you was wrong, incorrect, or it just didn't happen that way. Maybe the whisper of your intuition has gotten even smaller and quieter. It may be hard to hear or recognize until it's just too late. Have you ever realized after the fact that your intuition told you to turn left and you turn right? And maybe something bad happened, like a car accident. You overrode it by being busy so you couldn't listen. I did. You might have heard of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. There's a fourth survival strategy to danger called fawn, which is people pleasing. I was always on high alert, watching out for people's needs. I was Debbie on the spot. If you needed something, I was already on it. This is how I survived my childhood and most of my adulthood without any life skills or direction. Do you have healthy boundaries? I grew up not being taught about personal boundaries. I thought a boundary was a fence between two properties. I also learned that I was overstepping other people's boundaries by overhelping. I was depriving people of learning the lessons they came in to learn by saving them, by stepping in before they even asked for help, because I was so good at seeing what they needed. I signed up for every group and program, bought everything my friends were selling. Each time I'd hoped this would bring the friendship and connection I was so deeply desiring. Over and over, these friendships would fade away. And I was left confused and disappointed again and again. The pattern of ignoring my own needs and giving took a toll on my physical health and energy, causing the suppressed emotions to go into my body. My adrenals were compromised. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, exhausted and drained with zero energy left. But there was one area of my life where I felt alive and energized. One of my favorite things to do when my boys were young was to visit model homes. We would tour these new, clean, beautifully decorated homes. And as we walked around from room to room, we would say, "Ah, this is great. It feels good." I was inspired the way these homes made us feel. And I began to practice what I called decorating at home. What I didn't realize was that my decorating was changing the energy of my home. I could see how these changes affected people and their energy. They would light up when they walked into the room I had just decorated. I realized I had a gift for creating beautiful spaces that people would never want to leave. That felt good, just like those model homes we used to tour. What I didn't know then was that this was the beginning of my development into feng shui. In my case, it was instigated by the spaces that made me feel good. It was the beginning of becoming aware of how I felt in spaces and how I felt inside. It can help others to know how to change their energy too, or your energy, all of us. And I'm now a feng shui master. Recently, one of our employees told me he didn't want to go into the office anymore. He said it just didn't feel good. It had been about a year since I had gone into the office myself. And so I went in and saw that it needed an update. The energy in the office was not inviting people to want to start coming back to work from working remotely. It was stagnant energy and it felt old and dusty. I brought in new flooring and some new paint and some new window coverings and put in new plants and threw away the old dying ones and made a lot of it, some new adjustments to the space. The office was now motivating. It had motivating energy. It made you feel like a place you wanted to create, a place you wanted to be in. People are coming back to work now and our sales are increasing significantly. And this shows the power of energy. It's like, it's all around us and it's within us. Feng Shui is a metaphor for how spaces feel and the energy it attracts depending on whether the energy is positive or whether it's negative. We can't see it, but we can feel it. Just like you can feel the energy of a room, you can feel the energy of the people around you too. I loved that I could use my feng shui skills in my home and office to make people feel good. But what I hadn't done yet was feng shui myself. I needed to feng shui the energy inside of me. I needed to declutter, toss out the old garbage, the beliefs and perspectives that didn't work for me anymore. You fix your insides, then you can change yourself. And I started to heal myself by learning to meditate, to be still, and to breathe. So I could tune in to hear the whispers of my intuition, my messages, and to ground myself to the earth to be able to be present. I didn't know that I could just ask myself, I didn't know that I could even ask myself how I felt about something, that I could make my own choices or get the answers just by asking myself. In this still, quiet space of meditating, I was able to remember who I am and to know that I could make my own choices and get the right answers just by asking myself. And that I was not making the choices from my 10-year-old self. The messages started coming through loud and clear.
Deborah,
And
can you start to wrap up a little bit? We're past the red point.
yes. Okay. So a very wise man said to me recently, what is it you've learned from your difficult life? What is the gift that you've come to learn? And the gift is what's propelled me to be where I am today. That's what I've learned. And it's my badge of honor. And all this reflective work hasn't been just for me. I discovered that I'm here to change my lineage. I'm the one that's willing to speak up and to work on myself. And while I'm changing myself, I'm changing those around me and my family lineage for the generations to come. So you might think, how does a person apply the lessons I learned for themselves in their lives? Well, everyone has the powerful gift of intuition and to feel emotions and to listen to them.
You need to wrap up. So 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just here to tell you that if it's not too late for me to change and grow and evolve, it's not too late for you. If I can do it, so can you.
Thank you, Deborah. Well done. Madam Timer, please allow 1 minute on the clock so we can give Deborah feedback in the chat. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Timer. Here's another quote on mentorship. Every great achiever is inspired by a great mentor, by Leila Gifty Akita. To lead the impromptu speaking section of our meeting, we have our distinguished Toastmaster, Christine Robinson. Please help me welcome her. Over to you.
On over here. Okay. Thank you, Kadisha. And hello, fellow Toastmasters. Good to see your shining faces this evening, morning. The word of the day is community. And so we're a community of speakers. And here's an opportunity for you to use that word of the day in the extemporaneous portion of our meeting. I understand that we have time for maybe 3 questions. And what I thought I would do is go ahead and post them in the chat. Ta-da. Let's see how that goes. A couple things about table topics before we begin. The first is you don't have to answer right away. Give yourself a second just to take a breath, think about what you want to say, and then go ahead with it. If you find that you're stumped on a table topic, just repeat the question. And by repeating the question, that gets you started, and that will help you. Also, when it comes to answering the question, you can answer it yes, you can answer it no, or you can say, Madam Table Topics Master, I have something entirely different I want to talk about. Let me talk about that. So I just wanted to kind of set the stage for table topics. I hate table topics because I'm an introvert, and introverts need time to think about stuff. But if you start doing these extemporaneous portions of Toastmasters, pretty soon it's not like eating spinach. It's more like eating hot apple pie. So I'm hopeful that that's how you'll perceive this particular round of table topics. So I'm not entirely sure how to call on people, but I can say that the first question I feel goes very well with our theme of mentorship this evening, and that is to ask you, who is a teacher or mentor that has made an impact on your life, and how did they help you?
Can we ask our guests if they would like to volunteer, but then have one of our members start it off? So maybe at least one of our guests, one or two of our guests.
Is there an intrepid guest in our community? Aha, how about Natasha McLean?
Woo!
Come on up, Natasha.
Hello,
Maybe
Natasha.
you could have a member answer the first one, so she gets kind of the hang of it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said it the other way around, dear. I thought
No.
you said that the guest could go first.
Well, if she's willing to go, then go.
I just feel like we got to go with the flow, and I think she's going to do well. And you have a person, and we have 2 minutes, right, Maureen?
Okay.
Okay, go.
I am Natasha, and I'm from the British Virgin Islands. My teacher was my aunt, Daria Letsam. She groomed me very well. I looked at her as my role model. She is my aunt because she was married to my uncle, and I followed in her footsteps to become a licensed social worker today. And I always give thanks and praises to her. So just growing up, watching how she managed the problems that we had in our family and making everybody happy at the end of the solution, that's what motivated me to become a licensed social worker.
Wonderful, thank you. That's kind of how it works in Toastmasters. Our best teachers are the ones who show us, and we get to see them on the stage and we go, oh, I want to be like that speaker. I want to be like Cynthia when I grow up. So the next question, give us one thing you are most grateful for today and why. I see Swarna has her hand up. Are you there behind that black curtain, Swarna? Ah, bravissima. There she is. Okay. I got to unmute yourself. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are from. Thank you so much for this wonderful topic. The topic says, give us one thing you are most grateful for today and why. I'm very grateful to have decided to come to this meeting today. I have a meeting going on, but I'm still listening to everyone who spoke today and so many nuggets of wisdom that I can apply in my daily life, and also taking forward whenever we have those spots, like sometimes we feel that we are not good enough or something's not going right, I can always reflect back and say, oh, this was what it is, and maybe I can work along. So first of all, I'm very grateful to be in this meeting today and listen to all the wonderful speeches by the keynote address, and then of course our TMD giving us so many quotes that are so relevant to mentorship. I can't see the timer, but so that I'm not late. Okay, so what am I doing that can make it better? Or how do we apply? The one thing that I would want to take back from today's meeting is what our Deborah was sharing. I put it on the chat also, is that sometimes we forget to tune into our GPS. We forget to understand what our intuition is saying. And we have lost it over time, maybe because of our parenting, because of our culturing, and so much of social stigma, so social implanting that goes as we grow. And understanding and living to understand our GPS is something that I want to do, and I will try my best to do it going forward. Thank you so much, and over to you, Toastmaster of the Table Topic Master.
Oh, Thank you. Thank you, Swarna. Thanks for joining us. We have time for one more question. And this is one I love for myself, is name a mistake you made, which ultimately led to a positive experience. Name a mistake you made that wound up being a good thing after all. I know you got some ex-boyfriends out there you could talk about. Come on now.
You want to volunteer, right?
I like to answer my own questions. So come on.
Anyone volunteering?
Let's hear a volunteer. Oh, good. Carolyn. Come
I
on
was
up.
reluctant. Thank you, Table Topics Master. I was reluctant to do this because I started laughing about my big mistake. My big mistake was my second child. And the reason why I'm laughing about that is because he is the blessing of my life. I'm like, here it is. I already had a child. 8 years down the line, I find myself pregnant again. And it's like, what was I thinking? But I have such a wonderful bond with my son, and we have done so many wonderful things together. It has been a wonderful teaching and learning experience for both of us. And sometimes I saw myself as the student to this kid who was my teacher. So I'm laughing at this humorous thing that occurred in my life that I thought, wow, it's a mistake, but it was actually not a mistake. It was a blessing that I needed, and I'm happy that it occurred. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you. What a great story. Wonderful, wonderful. I felt that way initially about Toastmasters. I thought, what the hell are you doing? And I found it's the best thing I ever did in my whole life. So there you go. I understand that's all the time I have left. So I'll be handing the con back to Kadisha. The control, you end up being the control. Okay, that's enough from out of me. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Christine, I got it. Got the control here.
Got the control.
What a great meeting we have had so far. We've had a keynote speaker, Aniket Amdekar. We had pathway speeches. We had impromptu speeches as well. Now we're going to move on to the evaluation portion of our meeting. And to lead this for us, I would like to invite back to the virtual lectern our general evaluator, Rosemary Sweeney. Please help me welcome her.
I need my agenda. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the meeting. Let me get my agenda in order. Use the speaker agenda. Our first speaker was Cynthia, and her evaluator was Toastmaster Caroline. Let us make her feel welcome as she presents her evaluation.
Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. And I would like to direct my comments to you as well as to Cynthia on her speech interviewing 7 surgeons. And this speech comes out of the research and presenting projects. And one of the things that we were to look for is a well-organized speech. And we want to see whether or not she applied techniques of having done research to the speech. Disclaimer, as a scientist, as a researcher, it's impossible to do justice to a well-done research in 5 to 7 minutes. But having said that, Cynthia, I want you to know I really appreciate the enthusiasm and the goodness that you shared in your speech. I love your vocal variety. I love the tone. I love the speech through which you gave. The speed that you gave your speech such that it kept us engaged. How did I feel hearing you speak? I was cracking up laughing. I looked at your body language. I looked at your angst. You did this with your hand, your head, your body. And what I want you to know is that you effectively use body language while in the seated position, so that we knew what your expressions meant and what you were trying to convey. In terms of the research part of the speech, I noted that you identified your resource as Johns Hopkins, and you identified a statistic where 2/3 of the arthroscopic knee surgeries yielded anywhere from a 60 to 90% success rate. Therefore, you needed to do the research to find who would be the best surgeon. You identified through the rule of three characterized surgeons that you interviewed, and you were able to make a decision based on the feedback that you received from them. All of that is really credible information, and it demonstrated the credibility that you had in, I can share this information with a straight face and people will believe it. What would I like for you to work on? When you first started your speech, I thought you were still in conversation with the Toastmaster. And then I realized, oh, she's in the speech. So I would suggest having more of a defined opening for the speech. But other than that, I enjoyed every part of your speech. It was humorous. It was informative. It had me cracking up. And I'm pretty sure that if you tell this someplace else, especially on a comedy stage, you would have the audience cracked up at what you were sharing. How do you challenge yourself? Keep doing it. Don't let it go dry. Just keep doing it. And I loved your voice. It was not a monotone. Keep doing it. Back to you, Toastmasters.
Thank you for your evaluation. And I know Cynthia appreciated it, and you said it is for us too. I will take that up. And at this time, we call our second evaluator, Rosalind. She's going to evaluate Deborah's speech. Let us make her feel welcome.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Deborah. Deborah, first and foremost, I want to tell you, I could feel your pain. I could be there right with you. You had us in the palm of your hands. Now, let me give you some feedback, because I have a lot of gifts to give to you. And the first gift I want to say is, we think our problems, and we think that they're so bad that we want to tell everybody each and every last little possible detail that we can get to. But in going through the problems so much of all the things, and I can relate, I'm like, that's me, baby, that's me. We must have lived in the same house. You let down on the time that we got to the other part, which is, I've got a problem, how am I going to fix it? And so when you got into the problem of the feng shui, you barely got into it. And I think at that point we were losing on time. And I got to say, I was there the week before and I was losing on time. And I was like, well, what's happening here? What's happening here? And when you get that thing that you're losing the time, it's really important to come back and say, okay, I've got to just cut to the chase. So there's more to tell you. But what I want to let you know is we're all in this boat together, and we could do it. If I could do it, you could do it. But here's another point. When you're giving this speech, I felt like your eyes were really on us when you were telling the problem, that we could see you looking at us, and the eyes meet us, and we're able to follow. And as you got further along in the speech, your eyes were over here. And I've been told when I look over here and I'm doing a podcast, that's not good. That's not good, because you want to keep the eyes on the audience, because when you keep the eyes on the audience, you're able to carry them with you. And I know by giving long speeches what your 4 points were, and you should have basically those points written down on a piece of paper of what those key words were, so that when time comes, a push to a shove, you know exactly what to say and when to say it. It's a good talk, and I think it could be one that could help a lot of people out in the problems that they have. And it's going to get better and better each and every time that you do it. I know you're a fine, accomplished speaker, and with the next one, it's going to be the best it could. Thank you so very much for sharing the story of how we act from that childless to take our emotion, and we really truly need to listen to our intuition. And thank you so much for a very lovely speech.
And thank you for an evaluation that's going to take us from here to there. We are going to remember that, have our notes on the sheet of paper so that when time runs out on us, we choose one and we speak about it. Thank you, thank you. At this time, we are going to call on our role players. And I now call on our grammarian. Suppose our grammarian.
Sally, I believe that's you.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm having a little trouble with my computer today. I would like to thank you for all using our wonderful word for today, which is mentorship, and it's so acutely used. Cynthia 5, 6 times, Christian 4 times, Isaac 10 times, Kadisha 5 times, Anket, Aniket is about 9 times, 2 ums and 1 so, and Natasha 2 times. So mostly that's what I picked up on. And the best word of the day was evolved that I noticed. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. At this time, we are coming to the end of our meeting, and as general evaluator, I will give a synopsis of our meeting this evening. Our meeting started on time. We were here, the Toastmaster of the day, I must congratulate her. She was ensuring that every one of our role players were there, and the role players were here on time. As I always say, Murphy's Law is always there. Whatever will go wrong will. And some of us, we were dropped at certain times, but our meeting continued because that's what we're here to do, to practice. And we are not practicing for Toastmasters, we are practicing to be out there. So when this happens, we know what we are going to do, as our keynote speaker said. Our speakers were all prepared. They were properly introduced, so we knew what they were going to speak about. Our guests knew who our speakers were, although we know, but our guests knew from the introduction. And our role players, we could see that they were prepared, they were ready because they were accomplished. Toastmaster Deborah, as your evaluator says, most of us were right there with you, feeling that pain. That was a very, very emotional speech, and we can relate to being afraid and as children having people rule us, command us, tell us things to do which we really do not want to do. And I think you should continue with that speech. We will take Toastmasters Scott advice and find out things before we just rush through it, because her father was there and he knew best. Daddy knows best. Our evaluators, as I said earlier, we are going to follow what you gave the evaluations, and we are going to use it in our next speech. Overall, I must say I enjoyed the meeting. I enjoyed the speakers. I enjoyed the table topics. The table topics were in tune. However, some of our speakers went over time, and we have to ensure that we practice and stay within time so that when we go out there, we do not bore our audience. As here, we are here to practice. So next time we're going to remain within time. Overall, as I said, our meeting was a great meeting, and I now hand over to our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. And with that, I would like to leave you with one final quote on mentorship. And this one is by our lovely Oprah Winfrey. You get a quote, you get a quote, you get a quote. A mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself. And with that, I'd like to hand over to our VP of Education. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Kathleen Phil.
We had so much fun, so much meaningful fun, that we are running a little bit late. So I'm going to cut my little slideshow short, and I'm going to send you all of the contents in this speech. What this is about, what this little presentation is about, is that we all need to get in the machinery and get it running so that we all are participating and we reassure each other that we know what we're doing and are participating. So you will have 2 emails. I've already sent these, but just after this meeting, I'm going to send you, all of you who I have not seen on EasySpeak, I will send you 2 emails. The first one will look like this. It will be from Kathleen Peel, and the subject line is using the club website. When you open it, you will see a link to our website. You will also see your username is, and you will read your username. Your password is, and you will read your password. You will either copy or read, and then you're going to go to the club website, the home page, the front page of our site. And you will see on the top left where the little bitty window where you put the username, and then below that, the little bitty window where you put the password. You then click the little bitty radio button here, right here, that says, remember me. Once you've done that, you click log in and you have it made in the shade. That is it. You just do it once. The site remembers you and you are cooking with gas. Then every week, you will receive an email, and it will look like this. It's from EasySpeak, and the subject line will always be Leaders Worldwide Open House. You open it, and the important thing you'll see is 2 links. If you're going to come to the meeting, then click the blue link. I don't have enough time to tell you about the red link, so we'll just skim right along here. When you click the blue link, it will take you to this, and you are not done. It thanks you, and then it tells you to click here to return to the agenda. Very important, you click here. Then it takes you here. And you look for your name. So my name is Kathleen Peel. Oh, that's right next to the Zoom co-host role. So I look over, and if I'm going to be there, I click the thumbs up button. If I'm not going to be there, or if I don't feel confident, then I will click the thumbs down button. That's about all we have time for. And that is, you know, that 80-20 rule. This little bit is 80%, of all we have to do on the website. It's easy peasy, bada bing, done deal. So let's go. And over to our president for our chocolates.
Great. And Maureen, the timer is putting the report in the chat. Thank you so much, VPE Kathleen Pill, for that wonderful enactment of what the Easy Speak is. And if we all can get on the website, it'll make things so much easier because our agenda will be filled automatically, and then we can have an easy peasy, smooth agenda. I'm so looking forward to that. So a lot of you will be our more advanced Toastmasters will be receiving the training first from Kathleen and Victor, and be on the lookout for that. So announcements, I think our announcements is that, well, we had the elections, so we're going to be moving forward. We're going to have an installation in July. I'm still looking for a juicy person to install us, hopefully from Toastmasters International. I'm looking for a past international president. I'm hoping someone who hasn't visited us before. So that will be fun in July. And that leads us to takeaways and chocolates. It's our tradition here to have takeaways, to tell about your takeaway. And for a present or a prize, you get a virtual chocolate. We used to have real chocolates, but then COVID came, and we came onto Zoom, and we thought, why not make them virtual? So we like to ask our guests first if you'd like to share what your experience was. So is Natasha still here? Yeah, Natasha, would you like to? And you got to do the table topics. Woo!
There were lots of takeaway. I love the different styles of presentation. One thing I really zeroed in was your expression when you were presenting, and I saw how connected, I'm sorry, her name, the one with the 10-year-old speech, she was very connected emotionally with her speech. Just listening to how the meeting is being run, that was very, very important too, because it's kind of similar to how things are in the Virgin Islands. Like when you're listening to the House of Assembly, that's what it reminded me of.
Yes, parliamentary procedures. Yeah, it's a bit like that.
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you, Natasha. Thanks for coming. Yeah, we really appreciate that you stopped by from Clubhouse. Would you like a virtual chocolate? There's no calories.
Yes, I would. Thank you.
Here you go, your favorite flavor.
All right, got it.
Thanks. Awesome. And any of our other guests want to share? I can't see the whole screen, so if Michelle, if you could see if anyone's hands up.
Well,
I said, yeah, Aniket here. Yeah.
Aniket,
I had a great time.
Aniket, please share.
Yes, I had a great time listening to the lovely speeches and the table topics. Really enjoyed it, and many different takeaways. One sentence that I liked a lot: "No is a complete sentence." I love that.
Yes.
So certainly one of the takeaways, and lovely speeches by both the speakers today. So Deborah, well done. Cynthia as well. So overall, awesome time. Amazing morning for me. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, Aniket. And your presentation was out of the park. I don't know if you saw all the chat running in there. You can get the feedback you want. You can save it if you like. And also Deborah got a lot of good feedback, and so did I. It was awesome to get the feedback in the chat. I love that. So Aniket, would you like a virtual chocolate? All right, here you go. Good catch. Awesome. How about any of our other guests?
I think that's it for the guests.
Okay, and who else would like to share? Cassandra didn't get to share it all. So what was your experience today? What are your takeaways?
You're muted, Cassandra.
The famous line.
This entire evening has been just awesome. Everyone's input was just awesome. So kudos to everyone. Thank you for sharing your stories.
Beautiful, beautiful. Would you like a chocolate?
Oh, sure.
Oh, awesome. Here you go.
Thank you.
Yes, great catch. Anyone else like to share? I would like to hear from Deborah. How was your experience? That was a very emotional speech. How was that for you sharing it? It was longer because you're practicing for Women Speak. So it was the longer one. And what was your experience? What are your takeaways?
Well, I thank you for the opportunity to practice and to give my speech. And I was really, at first I was a little bit afraid. I go, oh, I'm going to not be in a breakout room. Oh my gosh. And, but my experience was good. I was, everybody's here so kind and, supportive. And so I'm really, really grateful and happy that I gave the speech and that, I look forward to, and thank you for all the feedback. And so I'm going to try to tighten it up and make it a little shorter and practice more. Keep speaking. I've learned from Toastmasters and from you, Cynthia. Keep speaking.
Keep speaking. And like Benjamin Franklin said, I would have written you a shorter letter if I had time.
Right.
So take some more time and make it a shorter letter for us.
Oh.
Here's your virtual chocolate.
Oh,
ready?
Thank you. I love chocolate.
And this won't keep you awake either. So you can go right to bed afterward. No problem. And I loved what you did as a Toastmaster of the day. You were awesome. And I especially liked all your quotes and that you put them in the chat. You've really raised the bar.
Yes, you did.
Really raised the bar.
Yes.
So what was your experience?
Thank you so much for the comment, Madam Toastmaster, and others who have sent me a private message. It was a great experience. Being the Toastmaster or the GE are major roles, and I find myself beginning to do them more. It was my first time being the Toastmaster of the day for this club, and it was a great experience. Again, thank you for the support. It was a community effort. I finally got to use the word of the day. So it was really wonderful, and I look forward to leading again. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Was this one of your first times being a Toastmaster of the day?
Yes, for this club, yes.
Awesome. You did a great job. And what would you like for your chocolate? You ready?
Yes, with peanut in it, please.
With peanut. Ooh, yummy. Here it comes.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay,
This
great.
should wear it well.
Any others want to share? We have a couple more minutes here.
I thoroughly enjoyed each person's speech. It was hard sometimes to be as engaged as I wanted to be in keeping track of the time, but I just can't wait to go back and watch it on YouTube so that I can really be present with the speeches so I can get the aha moments more. I found myself like wanting to write questions and comments and it doesn't work if you're timing. So thank you for each of the speakers and each of the persons here that played a role. It was a really wonderful meeting for me.
Beautiful. And you did an excellent job timing. That was wonderful. And good point about the YouTube. So this is being recorded to our cloud. It'll be on YouTube, hopefully by Thursday. So we'll let you know when it's available. And Michelle Peticola says, Maureen, you were an excellent timer. You absolutely were, Maureen. Great. Great. And who's Joe? Everybody keeps talking about Joe in the chat. Oh, here's your chocolate. Ready for your chocolate? Woo! Here you go.
Joe Jablonski showed up at the last minute. You might want to check and see whether he got his time mixed up.
Okay, Joe, would you like to share your takeaways? Were you here at all?
No, unfortunately, I was a little late. didn't get this. I kept thinking there was a meeting at noon. And of course,
Yes,
I'm not
there
able to
was.
make that right now, but this was kind of a last minute thing. So I kind of signed on and unfortunately I missed it. But the speaker sounds top notch. He sounds like he should be speaking at the Paris convention.
Ooh. At the International Convention in Paris. Wouldn't that be nice, Aniket?
Yes.
Woo!
That's good.
Got to sharpen that speech and give it. Yeah. Well, great, Joe. And Joe, we did have an election at noon, and then we had this meeting at 5:45. So yeah, we kind of threw you off for that. So sorry about that.
No
Would you
worries,
like a
that's all right.
Would you like a-
Thanks.
Yes,
Especially
you're
considering I was officially selected as an area director today.
That's right. Oh, you got approved? Great. Awesome. So you're going to be an area director in Madison, Wisconsin. Is that right?
Probably somewhere in the Milwaukee or southeast Wisconsin. I'm not from Madison, I'm from Milwaukee. Madison's just
from Milwaukee. Okay. You
Madison, Milwaukee, they all start with an M.
and they're somewhere in the middle.
And they're somewhere there.
Here's do you want your virtual chocolate?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, here it comes. Whoosh! Great.
Is it Kit Kat, Toblerone?
Oh, a Toblerone. Oh, here I didn't throw you a Toblerone. Let me pick one up. Here it comes.
Thanks. Really awesome, yeah.
Yum. I love Toblerone.
Me too. It's my favorite.
Well, this was an excellent meeting. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all our role players and our speakers, and then Aniket that you stayed till the end. I'm just really amazed and grateful, and I would like to have you back again as maybe an
If this meeting's being
evaluator.
recorded, can we get the recording?
Yes, you will get the recording hopefully Thursday.
Outstanding. And I owe you something else, my HPL write-up for the newsletter.
Great. And that's coming out soon, probably mid-July or August.
Okay.
Finally. So you have a little bit of time, 500 words or less, and include your bio in that. Great.
Sounds good.
So excited. Thank you, all of our guests. Natasha, we'll be talking to you later, and see you around Clubhouse. And for all of you here, well, I want to let you know, I think I put it in the Leaders Worldwide WhatsApp group. There is a talk tomorrow about TED and how to get on it. And especially for DTM Rosemary Sweetie, it's for the Caribbean and Latin America. So they're looking for speakers that live in the Caribbean and Latin America. So great, but they're going to give information about getting onto TED for anyone. So that's tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And I put that in the WhatsApp group. Okay, have a good night. Thank you so much. See you next week. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I took a snapshot of the meeting of all the attendees when